Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/JustNoMil. In today's episode, the baby picture that started Armageddon. Never hated anyone this much. Have gone LC with JNMIL, but considering NC. Jamil never misses an opportunity to remind us that our daughter is a insert dad's family surname here. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. The baby picture that started Armageddon. So, fair warning, this one's a lengthy one, boys and girls. I normally really only ever use the BC thread of this subreddit, mainly because I am beyond paranoid that my MIL or SAL will somehow find this burner account and feed me to the wolves. Regardless, I just recently experienced my first Hail Mary with my in-laws. My first real fight. Confrontation. Argument? Whatever you want to call it. And it was so much more uncomfortable than I could have ever imagined. Before I begin what started it all, I would like to make the honorable mention that if you'd like to skim my profile on here, you can find just a few unfavorable moments that I have shared regarding my in-laws for a little bit of a preface. A couple weeks ago, I made a post on Facebook kindly asking that all friends and family ask me before posting pictures of LO on the internet. Although I feel that I shouldn't need to explain why I wanted to establish this boundary, I felt that it was a good way to practice internet safety with LO and for privacy reasons. I made it clear in the post that I would probably rarely ever decline a photo being posted, but that I just wanted to be aware of what was being posted beforehand. Which, I feel like, is a respectful thing to do before posting pictures of someone's child, regardless of whether or not you have a title to the child. Now, MIL almost always interacts with any post on FB that is in regard to my LO. She just so happened to not interact with this specific post. No big deal though. I tried to give her grace and thought maybe she honestly just didn't see it. Looking back now, I feel like she did see the post, but blatantly chose to not interact with it in order to play clueless later on down the line and act like she didn't know any better. Maybe it's just my awful paranoia after consistent boundary testing / crossing from my in-laws. I digress. Sayel's birthday celebration comes and it's being hosted at Mael's house. We are expected to attend, so we go, and of course MIL is taking pictures of the baby. The thought does cross me during the party that she would more than likely end up posting them later that day and say nothing to Beanie about it, but I rid it from my mind and move on with the event. Fast forward. Party is over. So, LO, and I go home. Maybe an hour later I go on Facebook to see that my suspicions were right and that MIL had made a post about the party and included pictures of my LO. It wasn't like LO just so happened to be in the background of these pictures, but they were solo pictures. No big deal, or so I thought. I would just text her and ask her to ask next time. I would like to mention that So and I's relationship has been pretty rocky ever since LO was born, and before, due to my MIL trying her hardest to overstep boundaries and overly insert herself. She has been a real stressor on our relationship for a while, so I didn't really want to bring it up to So and stress him out about it. I also just figured it was a simple fix and that I would just politely text MIL about it. This was how the interaction with my MIL went. Me, hey, just for future reference, please ask before posting pictures of LO. I made a post on Facebook a few weeks ago about it, not sure if you saw it. MIL, my bad. I took it off. Me, no worries. You can keep it up, I don't mind. I was under the impression that everything was okay and that she had no problem with this. That was until literally 30 seconds later I hear So answer a call from the next room to a screaming, belligerent MIL having a literal meltdown about the text I sent her. I rushed into the room that So was in. I couldn't really make words out of what she was saying. She was just screaming, and the only legible sentence I could make out was, "It's my grandbaby." So was stunned. he proceeded to tell her, "Calm down. Calm down. I will talk to OP about it." Then hung up the phone. Once off the phone, he told me that she was extremely upset and that I needed to call and talk to her about it and that he wouldn't be getting involved. I was so beyond confused because she had replied to my text so nonchalantly. I figured if she had a problem with my request that she could talk to me about it like an adult, but I suppose that was too much to expect. At that point, I didn't really want to call her at all because I felt like her behavior was quite literally insane and completely inappropriate. Mil then apparently called SIL immediately after and had yet another meltdown on the phone with her about it. I could write an entire novel about the events that transpired after this, but I would just like to know. Am I the asshole here? I tried to be as nice as possible, but according to and his entire family, I am apparently crazy for establishing that boundary and texting Mil about it. The only boundaries that I have regarding my baby are that no one kisses her. After traveling places, visitors must wait a week before seeing LO due to RSV cases rising in COVID. Ask permission before posting pictures of LO on the internet. Apparently, that is too much though? My own mom, nor anyone else, not even other relatives in his family, have issues with any of these requests. It's only been my in-laws. Come to find out later. In Mil's opinion, I should have called her and discussed it instead of texting her about it. But I really didn't think it was that big of a deal at all. If anything, I feel like calling her about it would seem more dramatic. Which is why I texted her about it and thought that I was coming across as polite. I even let her know that she could keep the photos up to try to make it seem like it wasn't a big deal. Unfortunately, to her it came across as controlling. I'm just left feeling really confused and really hurt. So isn't on my side about this, so that doesn't help either. It's also hard when I have to deal with a SAIL too who is going behind my back and talking to Mil about all of this, which I mean. It is expected, it's her daughter. But still? I'm not really seeking advice on this because I do plan on making another post about the intense events that transpired after this incident, but I just want to know in this situation. Was I the asshole? It's interesting how your husband claims he's not going to get involved, but will tell you that you need to speak to his mother instead of setting his mother straight on how she speaks about you or to you. He's married to you, he's already involved, he's just not choosing your side. No, your Mil is a spoiled brat. Nope. You were not out of line. Mil wanted to get you on the phone so she could talk you out of your rule or berate you without creating receipts. Your text was not harsh. Mil just doesn't like your rule. She wants to do what she wants and steamroll over you. If you had called her instead, she would gripe about that, too. Yes. This right here. I fear that even if I did call her, she would have made a scene about that, too. I can't win, I feel stuck at a crossroad. She also does exaggerate things, so your receipt comment is extremely accurate. Who knows what narrative she would have spun if I would have called her. NTA, it's unlikely I'll have kids, but I've told my husband if we do I don't want any photos of them online until they can consent. You don't have an in-law problem though, you have an so problem. You were definitely not the AH. And your husband should have handled his ridiculous mother. Never hated anyone this much. Have gone LC with JNMIL, but considering NC. Okay, so this will be a long story and maybe triggering for anyone who has had a miscarriage. I had a miscarriage several weeks ago but had been keeping it to myself and husband because I was not ready to tell anyone. We knew we were going to have a boy and were choosing names. When we told JNMIL we were having a boy, she was upset because there are 3 boys already and she wants a granddaughter. The rest of family was talking about expanding the boy group and how maybe they could be a band with how close in age they are. This is when my hatred for this woman began. She began referring to your future grandson as Opie's baby whenever the baby was brought up. She was visually upset that the baby wasn't a girl and told me she didn't normally pray, but she was praying daily, that the doctor got it wrong. Then I miscarried. I have epilepsy and was high risk, and they had to lower one of my medications, and it was enough to cause a grand mal seizure. It landed me in the hospital, but they couldn't save the baby. She had the nerve to tell me it was universe trying to correct its mistake in the only way it knew how. I let out a literal scream, told her to F***ck, and that not enough apologies in the world could fix what she just said. I told her that she would only have grandsons now because no child of mine would be near her. Both her daughters are done having kids, so only her son is having kids now. DH is 50/50ths who he sided with, but he sat there for SEC and then said that he wouldn't even want a grandson near her. She has been calling nonstop to apologize, but it doesn't matter, and she has tried turning the family against us. She made the comment in front of them though. Sorry for how long this was, just needed to vent. Hugs and more hugs. When people ask, the universe corrected itself and removed her from our life. I wish you health and healing vibes. Nothing she says will ever erase her selfish insensitivity. Be happy she is gone and move forward with blessings and health. That was one of the worst things I've ever heard a Mil say on here. I have no words. My heart goes out to you. I hope you're able to rest and be around supportive people. I'm not sure how DH can be 50/50ths who he sided with. Anyway, big hugs and take care. Thank you. Luckily, I have my mom who has gone through something similar, so she has been able to help understand what I'm feeling. My husband actually hasn't spoken to his mother since this happened, which is also very helpful. How dare she? There's no apology in the world that makes up for her wishing your son away, being happy that you had a miscarriage. And to your face no less. NC would not be an overreaction. I didn't speak to my MIL for a year after she said something far less heinous when I miscarried. I'm so very sorry for your loss. I am very sorry for your loss. That hideous and disgusting woman just couldn't stop the poison that came out of her mouth to give you some support when you really needed it. I really wish bad things for her. I'm physically sobbing right now for you. I'm so sorry you went through that. I have no advice, but many hugs from someone who has also been through a miscarriage with awful in-laws. Wow, Opie, it's worrisome your DH is 50/50ths. I could not even imagine hearing my mother's name if she said that to my wife that just miscarried. Looks like the universe corrected its mistake of having MIL in your life. I am so sorry for your loss. What an absolutely unforgivable thing to say to a grieving mother. OMG, what a heinous thing to say to someone in your situation. I am so sorry you and your DH have to go through this and are dealing with this loss. You are not alone. JustNoMil never misses an opportunity to remind us that our daughter is a insert dad's family surname here. LO was born 10 months ago. We set firm boundaries about no visits in those early weeks of life. Gave the most sound reasons for this, and naturally, pissed off husband's side of the family, my mom and her family were understanding. We needed bonding time, healing, and to care for our underweight newborn in the height of flu season within a pandemic. Ever since we set those boundaries with both sides of the family, it seemed that JustNoMil has attempted to minimize my importance as LO's mom. Anytime my daughter does something that would elicit any level of pride or joy from us, we are met with such comments as, well, she is a insert in-law family surname here. I can't disagree, LO took her dad's last name, but in every context, especially with regard to developmental milestones where she is hitting those motor goals early, MIL attributes these little achievements to her genes and her side of the family. For a little more background, my daughter was born with congenital torticollis, and the hours of patience and effort we put into carrying out the home PT plan in order to resolve her issues by 6 months and surpass her milestones at that age made us incredibly proud as new parents. But no, JustNoMil was going to give us no such kudos for handling a serious health issue all on our own. It was going to be that Elo's early crawling was due to grandma's strong legs. The attributing of qualities and characteristics to specifically husband's side of the family, even to specific siblings of my husband, have only continued since then. I've had it. She is a speech pathologist and educator, and she knows that if she says it enough, my daughter will grow up to repeat it and my fears of being minimized as her mom will be realized. I mean, if you're petty like me, you could play the long game here. This isn't a you just wait, but all kids hit a challenging phase eventually where they just kind of act like little shits for a while. It's just a part of growing up. But I'd totally just let this roll and give bland responses till the kid is like 4 and sasses grandma, or says something that just roasts, or does something that makes grandma crazy and go, well, you did always say she's a name, through and through. This mirrors my thoughts on the matter. I realize now, I am playing the long game. Thank you. I like the way you think. Find out her maiden name. Every time she brings up Elo takes after the chuckle and say, yes, thank heaven she takes after and not the. Truly do not understand MIL's logic. She's saying that her own children, as well as grandchildren, take after FIL, not her. The logic is not strong with this JNMIL. My son has been hitting milestones early too, but the funniest one is his teeth. Told my MIL my 4MO is busy teething and got hit with I doubt it. My granddaughter and all my kids didn't get teeth until closer to 1 year old, so I hit back with that's late. Every baby on MY side of the family already had 2 teeth by 6MO, must be more of an, insert my surname. Yes, I married into the family, just like you. Don't forget, I am her mother and your relationship with Elo depends on your good relationship with their mother. If I hear you minimizing my role or suggesting that Elo's qualities are solely due to your side of the family, you won't see us for a month. Continue and your role in our lives will be reduced further and further. Argue, negotiate or gossip about us and we can start immediately. I agree with this. Like, why not call her out on what she's doing? Stop reducing me as my child's mother or I'll reduce you as her optional family member. Mil isn't that last name, so why the hell does she need everything to come from her son's side? Although true MIL, you are just the grandparent, one of 4 of them, and I am Elo's mother, the only one she has. Just here to offer solidarity. My MIL does this too. She has a whole list of other toxic crap she does, so we actually went LC with her and sort of did an initial time out, and that helped a lot with her commentary. Husband did an info diet of sorts for a couple weeks too because we got sick of her commentary. As a side note, our son had torticollis too. Congrats on the amazing job completing home PT and fixing your son's issue, mama. I personally know how much practice, time and perseverance that takes, especially if baby is screaming and doesn't want to do certain stretches. Anyways, when we told MIL about this, she basically said torticollis wasn't a thing when she had babies and this is a new made-up issue by the new generations. In-laws can be wildly ignorant and disrespectful. Just keep doing you. Keep being an amazing mama, and when she comments say, maybe. She has a ton of my family in her too. But most likely these skills are attributed to just her because she's her own person and she's growing fabulously. Stop caring. She is acting hilarious if you aren't invested. Kids don't like their moms being disrespected. Your kid will figure this out and will be bored very quickly. Mine get irritated when MIL visits, but beg to stay at my parents for a week, by themselves, every summer. Kids are more observant and intuitive than people think. No, you immediately respond to each of these statements with things like, she actually gets it from my side, we're all perfect and amazing specimens with strong XYZ because we were created in a lab. Or, you know, my grandfather was a professional circus muscleman and that's why her legs are so strong. This is hilarious. I wish I was funny enough to think this way off the cuff. Thank you. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.